Hi there y'all, my name is Tom and this is Empty Pantry Entrees, a place where you can learn all the skills you need to make delicious recipes out of only the odds and ends you have in your pantry. And today we're going to be making Chicken Enchilada Soup. This recipe was originally inspired by one of my favorite fellow small YouTubers, the Cookin Camper. If you want to see some awesome camper-friendly recipes, along with some recommendations for perfectly picturesque slices of nature across the US, you definitely need to check out his channel. I'll make sure to drop a link in the description below. But yeah, other than that, there's not much else left to say other than today I get to play with my new immersion blender, and I'm always out here trying to, have fun with new kitchen appliances. But enough talking, I think it's about time for us to move on.
The first portion of today's video is going to involve a lot of chopping. Lucky for me, I've found a cheat code here, and if you drop the onion just right, it's a little messy, but it's a whole lot easier than chopping manually. Place your quarter of a large red onion into a prep cup and line things up for the jalapeno. Oof, looks like the simulation mods must have patched over the cheat code. No matter, slice up both of your jalapenos, and optionally you can remove the seeds if you want to tone down the spiciness a bit. I myself am going to keep them in because I really want a kick out of this soup in the end. Next up is a fresh lime, which will take the time to wake the juices up by hitting the citrus with a spin, a roll, and a slice. Following that, we'll plate up 1 block of low-fat cream cheese as well as half a block of queso fresca cut into small wedges. After that, we're going to take a large bunch of cilantro and finely mince it. Sorry people with the cilantro gene, this recipe is not for you. And the final step on the cutting board is to slice a large chicken breast into 2 cutlets so that they can cook a little bit quicker and more consistently in the cast iron. Hit both sides with a sprinkling of salt and pepper, wash your hands because food safety is important, and then head on over to the stovetop where you'll place a large pot or Dutch oven on a medium-high heat, into which you'll pour 2 cups of water and reach for the next empty pantry essential ingredient, chicken bouillon cubes. I, for one, find it much more convenient to reach for one of these cubes whenever a recipe calls for chicken stock, mainly due to the longer shelf life. You'll drop in one of these cube bits and try not to look at it too closely while you break it apart. I said these cubes were an essential ingredient. I didn't say they'd be the prettiest. After that, we're gonna reach for a microplane and balance it over the pot, pointy, scrapey, danger side up. We're gonna grate into the pot about 1 inch of fresh ginger root, or really grate as much as your heart desires. It's really hard to overdo fresh ginger in my opinion. After that, squeeze in the juice of your sliced lime, then scoop in 1 1/2 tablespoons of minced garlic. And don't skimp on the minced garlic because I promise you, I'll know. Give that a mixy around and then it's waterfall time for your jalapeno slices, your red onion, your wedges of queso fresca, and cream cheese. Looking at this, I'm seeing a whole lot of cheese going into the pot, so my gut is telling me to rip that cream cheese serving in half. It'll probably thank me later, all things considered. Finally, you'll add to the pot 1 flour tortilla ripped into shreds. This extra bit of carbs will help to give the soup more of a body, and that's fancy chef talk for making the soup extra thick, with 3 C's. But in order to accomplish that creamy, rich, and well-bodied texture that we're looking for, you're gonna have to put in a bit of elbow work with your new immersion blender. It'll take about 2 to 3 minutes as you turn all of the chunks into a nicely blended and creamy soup. Just be careful as you're doing it, because the immersion blender said that there's a splash guard on the end, but it ain't helping much for me. Eventually, a kitchen towel around the top handle was a much better line of defense. Now that the soup is all blended smooth, cover with a lid slightly ajar and let simmer down on a medium-low heat while we work on our chickie. Into a ripping hot cast iron with a thin layer of canola oil goes our chickie breasts, letting them sizzle for about 5 minutes on each side or until they get a real nice golden brown crust to them. But at the end of the day, temperature is really the only thing that matters. The second they clock 165 Fahrenheit, get those suckers out of the pan. And then after they've cooled down a touch, or if your hands are burn resistant like mine are from my years back in the dining services, slice into little bits and admire these juicy looking chicken bites. Into a bowl all of them go along with half of a teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of cumin, and half a teaspoon of chili powder. These 3 spices, along with the juice of the chicken, will create an incredible coating for your chicken. And now, since we're in a spicing mood, let's add to our reduced soup half a teaspoon of oregano, half a teaspoon of chili pili, half a teaspoon of cumin, and a half a teaspoon or whatever's left in your paprika at this point. Mix that around to combine, and now it's time to plate up one of the most delicious looking soups that I personally have ever made. Couple scoops of the soup down into the bowl, and optionally you can shingle on some sliced avocado to make yourself feel all fancy and stuff. Then drop on in your Chipotle chicken and an itty bit more of shredded cheese to fill the center, and a healthy amount of cilantro to fill the hole in your heart. And I mean, just look at how amazing this looks. I know that y'all can't actually taste this, but at some point you just gotta trust me when I say that this dish is a serious winner. Creamy, spicy, rich, umami, all the things you could ever want in a soup, all wrapped up together. Once again, I just gotta say thank you to the Cookin Camper for sharing this recipe, and like I said, check out his channel in the description below if you wanna see more awesome stuff like this. As for me, all I have left to say is thanks for watching if you've made it here so far, and I hope you've noticed that there's been a few things changed on the channel. For starters, we've got a new logo, designed by one of my buddies, David. His commission-based art account is also linked below in the description if you want to hit him up for anything in the future. I personally love the new logo, but I want to hear from all of you. Make sure to comment below letting me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.